Hi children, welcome to Active Learning. This is the second part of chapter 3 grade 11. So if you haven't watched my previous videos before, there are separate playlists for ICT in English medium for the local syllabus from grade 6 onwards. We have a separate playlist for workbooks as well as the textbooks, and there are some already paper discussion video playlist as well. If you're starting from grade 11, there's a separate playlist for grade 11. And for chapter 3, I have done one video before this. So please watch that, because in that video, we have basically discussed about internet and about URLs, about domain names, and especially the DNS server, right? And from this video onwards, we will be continuing chapter 3 of grade 11. So here we will be basically talking about the services of the internet and especially about the cloud computing. Right. So when we talk about the services of the internet, they have listed few of them here, right? World Wide Web, file transfer protocol, remote access, file sharing, streaming of media, search engines, and we have emails or electronic mails, right? So we'll discuss about these services separately. World Wide Web, WWW, right? So last time also I told you, a lot of students think that the internet and WWW are same, but it's not, right? Internet is the largest computer network in the world, right? Which has so many computers and other devices as well, like printers. But when it comes to World Wide Web, that is the main service provided by the internet, and it's about the large collection of electronic documents which are saved in all these computers in this network, right? So this large collection of electronic documents are very important because that is providing so many information for us, right? So Sir Tim Berners-Lee is considered as the father of WWW. So if you want to access this www, and if you want to access different websites, you need a web browser. So last time also I discussed similar thing. So here web browser is an application software. So hope you remember, when it comes to software, you can divide it into two main categories, like system software and application software. So application software is very important because that is catering the user requirements, right? So web browser is one of the application software which helps the user to access internet. So here we can see few web browsers with their logos, right? So make these logos familiar to your eye. Most popular web browser will be, I think, Google Chrome. Actually, people use Internet Explorer to download Google Chrome. That's the normal practice, right? So we have Edge browser as well, which is not mentioned here, and Mozilla Firefox, Safari, Opera. So these kind of web browsers helps us to go through these web sites, right? So in a website, I hope you know already, we have so many web pages. And in these web pages, we can see so many resources like text, images, videos, and other multimedia stuff, as well as, most importantly, we have hyperlinks. What is hyperlinks? That blue underlined link where you can click and go to another web page. So using hyperlinks, you can browse the website very easily, right? And how to access a website now? One thing is you can use the URL. If you remember the URL, you can directly type the URL on the address bar of the web browser, and then you can enter the key and go, right? And usually, for example, if you want to go to Facebook, you can just type www.facebook.com, right? So it will go directly to the login page. So in there, actually the home page is the login page, because in Facebook, it's a different story where you have to log to see the content. But usually, if you think about now this website, right, this is about the website of the Department of Examination. So if you can type your URL in this address bar, and you can go to this website. So this is the home page which welcomes us, right? So in this one, you can see the basic information. And here, can you see the menus? And these are actually hyperlinks, right? When you click these hyperlinks, for example, if you want to go to the downloads, if you want to go to the gallery or the contact us page, you can just click these hyperlinks, and you can go to that relevant web page, right? So this is the home page of this particular website. Then we'll discuss about file transfer protocol, right? Hope you know when you send an email, you can send a file which is very small size as an attachment in the email. But we cannot send larger files using the email attachments. So that is why we have FTP, right, which is used to transfer large files from one computer to another computer, right? So the main protocol, we have discussed about few protocols. Hope you remember, like HTTP, SMTP, like that. So there we learn about TCP/IP protocol. A protocol means set of rules, right? Set of rules which we have to adhere, because internet is not having a single owner. But you should follow few rules and regulations when you are operating on internet. So this protocol is basically used there, TCP/IP, and here we can upload files from a client computer to the server, or you can download a file from the server as well. So we have actually discussed about this server client architecture and about uploading and downloading files in the previous video. So please watch that if you have missed it, right? So here we have the FTP client, here we have the FTP server, right? So same server client architecture. So you can transfer files from these server and the client. Even peer-to-peer also you can share the files. Next thing is the remote access, right? So actually remote access means you control or you operate a computer in the internet remotely, not your local machine. You log into a different machine, which is remote, like which is not in your location, it's far away maybe. And you can do different functions there, right? So similar things are happening in our uh, in the industry. For example, think like in my local machine, I have an issue in one of my softwares, right? So sometimes IT person from a remote location, they will log to my machine and they will, for example, uninstall my software, they will install software, they will repair the software, those things. So he doesn't need to come to my location physically to do that. He can remotely access my machine if I share my IP addresses, and if I give the authentication, he can log into my machine and do these kind of things, like, for example, installing software, right? Fixing problems, right? Uninstall, doing repair, those kind of things can be done. So I told you in that one, when we do it here in our industry, we, like, for example, the owner of the machine should give the authorization. Otherwise, that other remote party cannot access. But when it comes to hacking, hacking is like usually the hackers also use the same approach, where they will try to steal data and information. So they will remotely access the computers without the knowledge of the particular owner, right? So they will do like that, and they will try to access the computers and steal information. So that's a different story. That is hacking. Next thing is file sharing, right? So hope you remember, one of the main objective of computer networking is sharing resources. You can share a printer, you can share a scanner if you have a network. So such resource sharing, similar to that, we can share the files also, right, using the internet. For example, now they have given, when you get the exam results, you get your level results. So many client machines are connected to the Department of Examination website, and then you try to look for your results. Definitely there will be performance issues and a lot of access issues, because it's not very fast and you can get the results sometimes because so many people are trying to get the information at the same time. So that is one scenario where so many people can, like, if you think about the Google search, right? You are not the only person who will be searching using Google. So many clients will use this information, and they try to get the same access to same resources maybe. Okay. Next thing, streaming of media. Now, last video, actually, I talked about the streaming part. because downloading and streaming are two different concepts. Downloading means you get the resource to your machine locally, and then you have a copy in your local machine, and then you can watch maybe a video, right? But streaming means this is the process. Now user visits to a web page, right? And he find some file. For example, think about YouTube. You go to the YouTube and you find some video, and then what happens is the web server sends that message to the streaming media, and then you get that file. Now YouTube is starting to load that particular file. Actually, the streaming server streams the file to the user computer after that, right? So then the client machine, the client software on the user's computer actually decodes this, and now you can watch the YouTube movie or YouTube video. So streaming is different from a download, because in streaming, for example, think you want to see the last 5 minutes of that particular video, you don't have to wait until it plays everything, right? For in downloading, you have to wait until the whole file get downloaded to your machine. You need the local copy to watch the last 5 minutes, but streaming is different. In streaming, you can just, in YouTube, you can just go and watch the last 5 minutes, because as per the request only, streaming is working, right? So that's the difference basically. So internet is helping to find so many information. Hope you already know, not only multimedia, text, images, audio, video, everything, right? So these multimedia stuff. So even you can download images, videos, anything, most of the resources are available in the internet. Okay. Okay. Next service, search engines, right? Now we talked about URLs, right? And websites are having so many information. And if you think about the internet, there are so many resources. So you cannot remember every um, URL of all these websites, because it's so unlimited number of websites. So it's practically difficult to remember all these URLs, right? You will remember like few things, maybe your Gmail thing, Facebook, Google, some gossip sites or like that. But not that you can remember all these websites URLs. So that is why search engines are very come in handy, because search engines are helping you to find information in the internet. So you can go to any search engine like Google, Yahoo. So Google is the most popular search engine, but we have some other search engines as well. And you can type any keywords in the search box, in the search engine, and you can click the search button, and you can find so many links, right? So many websites with hyperlinks for these keywords you have searched, right? So you can obtain the relevant information, right? I'm not sure whether you believe in some of the O-level papers, they have asked how to do a simple Google search for maybe about elephants, how to do a Google search. You have to write the steps. So that it's that easy. If you have practically done that, it's really easy. But if you haven't seen a real search box in the Google, then that will be a problem, right? So in this picture also you can see, here you can type anything, and if you press this search button, you can see so many interested links. So you can go to these links and collect information. So I'm not sure you really understand the easiness of it, because as a person uh, who like we had computers actually after A levels kind of, right? So when we doing our A levels, to find that information, it's very hard. It's not that easy, right? Sometimes you have to go to books, go to library and get some books, or you have to contact some person and get those information. So even doing a simple assignment, even doing a report, it's very hard to find the information. You have to physically at least go to a library. But nowadays, at your home, at your computer, even using a mobile phone, you can find this information using search engines, and it's really easy, right? And many students feel Google and Google search engine and Google Chrome are the same. No, please get it to your head. Google Chrome is the web browser which helps you to browse the internet, right? It's an application software. But a search engine, the Google search engine, helps you to find information in the internet. It's one website. Google search engine is one of the websites in the internet. Right? So to go to Google search engine, you need a Google Chrome browser. With the browser only, you go there and search. Okay. Next thing is about domain name server. Actually, I have explained this thing in last video also, but let me explain quickly here as well. So I told you, usually all these computers in the internet are identified using an IP address of this format, right? It's having 4 digits separated with the decimal point, and these 4 digits can have uh, about 0 to 255. Up to that value you can have it. And these IP addresses will uniquely identify each of these computers on the internet. But problem is humans don't like to, or they are not very capable of remembering numbers. For example, it's for us, it's very easy to remember www.facebook.com rather than remembering the IP address of their servers, right? It's easy to remember www.google.com rather than remembering their own IP addresses. So that is why we have domain names which will uniquely identify the website, and it's very easy to remember. But the problem is we have to do the mapping, right? We have to map the IP address to the domain name, right? So that mapping actually is done by the domain name system server, right? Some places we have domain name server, but some places we have domain name system server. So anyway, DNS will help you to do this conversion of domain name into an IP address. Then the next main topic about the email, right? So in the topic also we have internet and email, right? So that's what they have named the uh, chapter as well. So electronic mail. So I'm not sure whether you understand the main importance of email, right? Because before email, we have letters. Now, if I want to send a letter to somebody in Australia or somebody in Netherlands, so then it will take maybe 2-3 weeks. I don't know, right? Based on the postage, right? And even I'm not sure whether that email will receive that party, right? But when it comes to email, you can exchange messages, right, as electronic mails, right, within 2 people, and it's very fast. Now we call the normal post as snail mail, snail mail, because snail is very slow. With compared to the electronic mail, the normal post is very slow, right? And in email, it's actually less cost. We can ignore the cost actually, because the only cost we have to pay is for the connection fee, but we don't have to buy envelopes, paper, and these stamps and everything. You don't have to physically go to the post box and put it. So all this hassle is not there, and it is cheap and very fast communication. So email is nowadays like very important, right? In when I'm doing my O level, A level especially, the emails, sometimes we have to send the email and we have to give a call and tell, okay, I have sent an email, please check. Even in offices, that was the practice. But nowadays, checking your inbox, right? Now in our offices, we we are daily checking our inbox, and we have to reply for the client's request, and we have to reply for those emails. We cannot say, I didn't see that. Sorry, I didn't check the inbox. It's like, it's very unprofessional, right, to tell something like that, because that's how this has been evolved up to now, right? So usually we have mail servers, right? And we have the personal computer, so you can send emails, and these emails will be kept as a copy in the mail server. That's why we can log into any uh, from any machine in any location at any time. You can connect to your Gmail account, or maybe Yahoo account, maybe your Outlook account, and check your emails, right? So because all your emails are saved in these mail servers, so you can send and receive emails through that. So hope you know a few email servers like Gmail, Yahoo, Outlook, like that. And any person can create an email account, right? Hope you have already created your email account. Please do this and see. If you want to create an account in Gmail, just type in YouTube how to create an email account in Gmail and create it yourself. Learn and do it, because IT, I cannot tell everything for you, right? Because these information get outdated. If I show you the steps how to do it in Gmail, after maybe 1 month, it's outdated. The steps may be different, right? That's why you have to, if you're doing IT, you have to be updated every day. I cannot just do a video and show you, okay, this is the step, please follow this. This won't change for millions of years. No, not like that. Even within 1 week, it may can change, right? So Google these things and search and do yourself and get the exposure, right? Rather than trying to memorize or study this, right? So this is the format of an email address, right? So you can see here we have the username and here we have the domain name, and we have @ sign in the middle to separate the username and the domain name. So why we have @ symbol is basically to separate these two. I don't know whether you believe in some of the O-level MCQs, they have given this format and asking whether this is correct, or they're asking you to find the correct email address, right? So it's that easy. If you have really done these things practically, answering those MCQs is not that hard, right? So here they are telling you how to create an email account, right? Electronic mail account, but it depend on your mail server. So I cannot tell go do this at once like that. But usually what happens is you can go to that particular email server and you can use, first you have to create an account. So for that they will ask some information like maybe your name and all the passwords, and sometimes your age and your gender and those kind of information they will be asking. So after that, after you create your email account, please remember your username and password, because after that you have to use those username and password and you have to log into that particular email account to check your mails, right? So hope you already know you can send emails and you can receive emails, right? So when you're sending an email, you have to fill these things, right? You have to fill the two. Two means to whom you are going to send it. Usually, this is the only field we are filling, not this CC and BCC. I will explain what CC and BCC, but usually two means to whom you are going to send this particular email. And here we have the subject, and here we have the content of the email, right? Usually in professional way is to have a subject, because in the subject you shortly tell, okay, I want this to be done. This is what I need, right? So sometimes, especially in industry, when you are very busy, some emails you can skip, okay, just by reading the subject. That's not relevant for my project, so I can just skip. I can later watch it, right? Like that, because subject is that important, right? And you can have the content after that. Usually you address like you write a letter, right? You have to do it like addressing and thanking and you're sincere, those kind of things. And you can have attachments here. That means you can attach a file, like an image file, small video clip, audio clip, like that. You can attach and send a PDF or something like that here. Okay. So two, now you know what is happening. In two, you have to tell the primary addresses, the all recipients of it. And these people can be seen from all. Like, for example, think you have now they have given nice example. We'll follow that same example and see. So here we put Shashikala here for the to address, right? Then we type CCC, like this name BPD, BP Dasun, right? Will be in the CC. CC means carbon copy. So what happen is all the things now, usually we put to is for the person who should do something for this particular email. For example, I need to know some information. For example, I want to get my salary details from one of these, my finance people. So for the to field, I will put the recipient who should provide that pay slip related information for me, right? But for the CC, I can put some people, okay, they should know I have done this, I have requested, and if this person is not responding for my email, the other parties will at least check on that, right? So to is basically the primary addressee. That means that is the person who should really do this, really take an action on this email. But CC means for the other people to know, okay, this person has requested something and done something like that. So CC people will just observe. They will not take an action. So that is why we have CC. And then BCC, blind carbon copy. So these people will also get an email, but all these first two people said doesn't know, okay, that this same email has been sent to this BCC people as well. Okay. For example, we'll think we send for Monali under BCC, right? So the person who receives the BCC copy, the Monali is the one who is under BCC. So Monali will see, okay, Shashikala, who was under 2 category, and BP Dasun, who was under CC category, right? Actually, Monali knows, okay, this email has been sent to 3 people, for me, for Shashikala, and for Dasun, right? But the Sasikala and Dasun doesn't know that this email has been sent to Monali. That is the importance of BCC. Hope you remember in Harry Potter, we have something called invisible clock, right? Monali is like wearing the invisible clock. Now in a room, think you have Monali, you have Dasun, and you have Sasika, right? So Sasikala was at 2, under 2 category, and Dasun was under CC category, and Monali is under BCC category. So Monali is wearing the this invisible cloak so that other 2 parties doesn't know Monali is there in the room, similar to that. And think there's another one like Monali. We'll have that person as Kamal. Kamal is also under BCC. So Kamal is also wearing an invisible cloak, right? Now, this Dasun and Sasikala doesn't know, okay, Monali and Kamal are both in this room, but they don't know because they were wearing invisible clothes. And most interesting thing is Monali and Kamal, who both are wearing invisible cloaks, both are in the BCC category, they don't know each other as well. So Monali doesn't know about Kamal, Kamal doesn't know about Monali. That's the most interesting part. But please note, if this BCC person unforgettably or he didn't see that I am a BCC person, and if he just reply all the parties will see him. Okay, that is one of the problems in BCC. If you like mistakenly the BCC person, if they reply to all parties, then other people get to know, okay, this same email has been sent to this party as well, right? So I told you the importance of the subject, right? And you can attach and send these emails. So please send an email to your friend, or you can send an email to our email address. If you want some information about classes or something, you can send an email to our email address, right? ecleclearning@gmail.com. ecleclearning@gmail.com. So you can send an email to us to check this functionality if you want. So please send an email today if you haven't done it before and check this. And in the email, usually in all these email servers, we can see these email accounts. Inbox. Inbox will have all the messages we received, right? So usually we have to go to the inbox and see, okay, these are the letters I got. It's like our letterbox. And draft means, now think you type some email, right? But you think, okay, I need some more information on this. I'm not ready to send this email now. So then you can keep it as a copy. Still you haven't sent it. It's just a working copy, draft. So that draft is composed to be sent, but still not completed. So those emails will be here. Sent to store the mails you have sent. Remember, all these mails you sent has a copy there. That's another importance of having email. Now, if somebody tell, I didn't receive your email. Okay, I was not copied to your emails. You can show, okay, this is in my sent folder. See, I have sent you, right? So it's kind of a proof. Okay, and we have trash or deleted. Sometimes we can delete the emails, but at the same time, when you delete it, it will not erased from your thing. It will kept under deleted folder. So if you want to take it back, if you want to restore it back, you can do it. You can permanently delete an email from that folder as well. Then after that, you cannot actually take it. But for sometimes mail server will keep it, but it's a bit hard to get it back, right? And you have spam and junk, right? So usually when sometimes you can see a lot of spamming happens, right? Junk mails like promotions and all these things are coming. So you can use even spam filters and put them under spam folder or junk folder, and you can consider it as an unwanted email. Sometimes very interesting thing is like sometimes, for example, you are expecting an email from another company or something and you don't see it in the inbox, right? Please go and check your junk. Sometimes like mistakenly those emails can be sent to junk or the spam folder. So inbox, if it's not there, go and check your spam as well, right? That is, then from that you can easily find all these emails if you missed anything there, right? And in even in the inbox, you can actually separate this. You can put rules and tell, okay, all the emails from this, put it here. All the emails from this, put it under another folder. Like that, you can nicely organize your email account as well, all these folders. And there's one thing they have not given, this Outbox. So that's also very interesting thing. In Outbox, what happened is now all the sent emails will be under sent folder, right? But think suddenly when you type everything and you click the send button, suddenly your internet connection goes or some issue had happened. Then what happened is like now email server cannot send this email, but it is, you cannot put it to sent also because it's not actually sent. It's not draft also. Why? The user has clicked the send button. So that those kind of emails will be put into Outbox. Now, if you quickly see, sometimes if you have a very some latency in your network, if you send an email, it will quickly jump to the Outbox, will keep there for like 1 to 3 seconds, and then only it will be sent. Okay. So Outbox is for that, right? For like for temporary keeping sent emails until it's actually sent. Okay. Okay, so we have learned a lot of things here about emails, and this is about IEM, instant messaging, right? This is not very new things like WhatsApp you do. You can do in Facebook, all these things also. So you can send instant messages. You can send to another mobile phone, to another computer, to another fax machine. So you can send messages, right? And two people can chat. We call it these Viber, WhatsApp, Skype, right? Nowadays we have so many new softwares also coming in for these things, Telegram and like that. So these things are helping you to chat over the internet. Video conferencing. Now, because of Corona, this is not very new thing. I guess this is not very new thing for you, because most of the students now, even my kid who is only 5 years, she has used Zoom, right? Because with the Corona, we have to do this distance learning. And if you join to my online classes also, it will happen using Zoom. So that is actually video conferencing, right? Earlier days, this was mainly in the industry, right? We are daily doing a video conferencing with our clients and with our team members and all. For the communication, because our clients are not local people, they are from different countries. So I cannot go to all these countries and have the meetings rather than wasting time and the cost. I can just connect with these video conferencing software like Zoom. Earlier we had Skype was popular at some time, but now it's Zoom, I guess. With this, you can conduct any conversation between two or more parties who are remote, who are not in our geographical location. So you can use audio, video, all these transmissions can be done, right? So hope you understand. You need a computer and a webcam. If you have a laptop, the webcam is inbuilt, then no worries. And you have to have an internet connection, right? That's the most important thing. And then you have to have communication software like Zoom or Skype to do these calls. Okay. Teams, that's another video conferencing software, right? So this is not a very new thing. You can have calls with your teacher, with your friends, and video conferencing. Earlier days, it was mainly in the industry, IT industry, basically. But nowadays, it's used everywhere. Even the parliament is planning. I don't know. People are asking them to join in Zoom calls rather than wasting money in the parliament itself. These days, that was the discussion going on. Then we have social networks, right? So social networks, Facebook is the most popular one, I would say. Instagram, that is also now very popular. So these are social networks helping you to maintain social relationships. Now, when we were doing A levels, O levels, my parents now they have a very huge problem. They don't know where their friends are. They don't have their contact numbers. Sometimes they miss their best friends maybe. But nowadays we don't have that problems. All the people at my school friends, my relatives who are far away, they all are in my Facebook, right? So we can we know what is happening with them. We know if some even some person is sick, we can help. Even at that level, these social networks have been evolved, right? So this helps to exchange people detail, photographs, video, even daily activities, right? Even people go to a restaurant, they will put it. Even they had a met somebody interesting thing, so they will share these things in these social networks, right? So LinkedIn, I'm not sure whether you have heard. Here we have the logo. A LinkedIn is basically for professional relationships, not for social kind of uh, like day-to-day relationships. Facebook, Instagram, those are for like normal social activities, but LinkedIn is beyond it. It's basically for professional relationships. Okay, then we have cloud computing, right? Maybe a lot of PA students are not aware of it, and it's very new term, right? So I will tell you why we get this, right? Now, earlier days, usually these websites, they were created and they were hosted like in locally by ourselves. For example, if I want to create a website, I will give some money to a company, or I can create it by myself, and I will host it. I will host that website within my local premise, right? And then only the other people can access my website. So the problem is I have to maintain that, right? I have to have a server which is running all day, all 24 hours it should run. So I have to make sure there's a dedicated machine. It will run 24 hours, and then the other people can access it. I have to give a separate internet connection, which is very good and powerful. I have to make sure that website is not disturbed or not blocked or something like that. So I, as a person, have to host this whole thing and keep it in my local premise, right? So it's very hard, right? I have to keep the local server. It's costly also. It's not very easy because having a server is not very easy. It's expensive because you have to have a good power, a continuous power supply as well, continuous processor, like high speed processor power, memory, and all these things. I separate OS for the server. So this is very costly. So then some people like these Azure and Amazon, those people thought, okay, we will give you that server, right? We will give that internet storage, and we will manage your website, right? You just create your website and host it in our machines. Now as the now a business person, now earlier what happened? I created the website, I hosted in my local service, and I have to maintain. It's very hard for me. It's very costly for me, right? But now what I do is I will create my website and will give it to another cloud computing service provider. Okay, take my website, host it in your machines and look after, and I will pay for it. But it's more cheaper than keeping a local server and maintaining by myself, right? So it's like a renting. Now, if I want to have some business place, one way is I create the building, I have my own building, and I will do the business do my shop there. So I have to make sure all the other things as well. I have to make sure water supply is there, electricity power is there, the parking is there. So I have to make sure everything. It's hard. What can I do? I can just rent a good business place which has all these things, maybe electricity, water, parking, and all these other infrastructures. And I just rent the place. I pay the rent only. So it's more cheaper, right? Rather than building your own place and starting a shop, I just rent a good place, more valuable place, and just pay the rent. So similar to that, now what's happening is I'm paying a kind of a monthly amount, subscription kind of thing for these cloud computing service providers, and they will host my website. They will make sure continuous power supply is there for the servers. They will ensure that continuous internet connection is there. They will ensure my website is not down, and they will continue my website is like a main will be available for all the time, right? And all these things will be taken care of there. So when we consider about cloud computing services, we have actually three types: infrastructure as service, platform as a service, software as a service, right? I will start from the software as a service because this may be more comfortable for you. If you have used Google Drive or this Microsoft 365 package, which is available with your Google account, if you have used it, you know you can just use Excel on your Google. If you go to your web browser, there you can use Excel. Right now, other ways what you have to buy the Microsoft package, and then you have to install that in your machine, and you are using Excel in your machine. But now we can use the Excel in your Microsoft 365 account itself. You don't have to install in your thing. So that is actually software as service, right? So this provides software installed in cloud. So you don't have to install it in your machine, right? It will reduce, definitely cost is reduced. You don't have to buy the whole Office package for that, right? And complexity of buying and managing, installing, all these things are now gone, right? You can just use some spreadsheet application or some word processing software or even Google Drive. You can store everything there. So you don't have to consider any hardware or software requirements. So that is software as a service, right? You only worry about your data. You don't worry about any OSs or any hardware stuff, any software stuff, nothing. You only worry about your data, right? Even Gmail. Now all your mails are there in the cloud, right? You don't worry about how to save it, how to save it, how to backup it. You don't worry about it, right? You just go and log into your Gmail account and access your emails, right? So that is actually software as a service. Next thing is next level, right? Actually here we have the control. The users have the control over data plus the other uh, software part, right? So this platform provides necessary server environment for software development. Basically, if you want to do some development, this will be really helpful. So these facilities will help regarding the OS, programming languages, databases, all these web servers. So you can remotely log into some platform, and then you can develop there, right? For example, the whole Java environment, all .NET environment, can be created in the cloud So you don't have to install Visual Studio, these things. You can just go there and develop your own code and use it. That's a platform as a service. Third thing is like you have access to hardware level also. Now, in this one, it's only up to software level you have the access. But here, it's providing a virtual environment of servers. You can decide your RAM. You can decide your hard disk storage, right? So you can decide your own um, hardware configurations of your virtual machine, and you can have your own machine in the cloud. You understood infrastructure, platform, and then comes the software as a service. So definitely having cloud solution, cloud computing, help you to reduce the cost, help you to improve performance, and you don't have to worry about the maintenance, right? Definitely availability will be there, backups will be there, uh, load balancing they will do for you. So, and remember, it's based on the usage only you have to pay. You don't have to pay for everything, right? If you have a local service at your place, you have to pay for it, right? Whether you use it or not, you cannot scale it, right? Because if you have more customers, you have to scale bigger. But if you want to scale down, you cannot do if it's in the local, right? But in cloud solutions, it's very easy. If you want, you can buy more service. If you want, you can reduce the service. So you have to pay only for the usage. The disadvantages may be like, especially the internet connection is a must. And without the internet connection, you cannot connect to these cloud solutions and work. So that's the main disadvantage. Other than that, everything is very beneficial. So this is about a very easy activity, right? So what is an email address? I told you @ sign should be there. So this somasiri@gmail.com is an example. Domain name, which is easy to remember, right? This is a uniquely identify the website, this one. URL have this format, right? Remember this protocol, we have www dot, and then we have the domain name, we have the navigation path, and finally the resource name. IP address, 4-digit number like this. Then we have, so second part, it's not correct. Some places, for example, search engine, yes, you can tell Google. And the service in the internet, you can say yes, World Wide Web. But domain name, it would be better to have DNS actually. Then we can tell it the DNS will converting domain name into IP address. And they have just web address. I don't know. It should be web browser. Mozilla Firefox is a web browser. So it has some issues. So we'll skip it. Then we have the summary. We learned about URL and how our IP addresses work, right? And how DNS, right, domain name system server, will transform this domain name into the IP address, right? And we learn about protocols. Please remember there were a few protocols mentioned. And we learn about different services like World Wide Web, email, instant messaging, social networking, search engines, right? We learned so many things. And we learned about email in very detail. And please remember, email addresses are unique. It's like our address to our house. If it's duplicated, then how can we receive a letter? Like that. So for the communication, we learn we can use instant messaging, video conferencing, social media, emails. All these things are communication mechanism nowadays we have. Okay, so that's the end of chapter 3 of grade 11. Hope you learn a lot of things. It's very interesting chapter and it's very practical chapter. Thank you very much for watching. So if you haven't still subscribed my channel, please do subscribe and please do comment. If you learn something, if it's really good, or if I want to improve something, please do comment, then I can. It's very interesting and very encouraging when I see your comments in the morning in my notification. So please do comment, please share these videos with your friends. And if you want to join for the classes also, please see the first comment in the down. You can see the mobile contacts also. Okay, so thank you very much.